boxes and stocks, they just take too long to do. Hollandaise is something that's very practical. You use it on many dishes. You can add things to make its derivatives. So from there, we're gonna go here. There's a couple things that we need to do. First, in the recipe, it's going to say 5.5 ounces of clarified butter. Well, we have to clarify the butter first. Okay, so step one. Here I have 6 ounces of butter. This is whole butter. After we clarify it, we're going to be getting rid of the impurities. So there's water, there's some milk fat, stuff like that. That's what's in here. So I'm going to put this in here. And I want to heat it up. We're just going to melt it. Just going to melt it. So after this is melted, we have to use a ladle. We're going to take the bad parts out, and we want to get the clarified part. The clarified part is what we need. Okay. Also in the recipe, I have 2 egg yolks. I have this is 3/4 of a tablespoon of water, lemon juice, tablespoon of vinegar, and then this salt and pepper is to taste. Anytime you see T and T together in a recipe, it just means to taste. So you'll have some, but you'll put it on as you need. That's what the tasting spoons are for. You want to taste your stuff as you go. Yeah. Remember, I'm going to be grading it. I'm going to be the last person who grades it. You need to test it out yourself. Okay? So if you make it and you taste it and you go, oh, it needs a little bit more salt. Put a little bit more salt. If you killed it with salt by accident and you taste it and go, oh, this is awful. If I were you, I would start over because I'm going to grade it. Okay? If you just like, oh, I give up, I'm just graded like this, chef. I mean, that's the grade you're gonna get. You know, if you're willing to give up, then that's gonna be on you. You know? But I'm giving you a chance to do it over. All right. So, clarified butter, we're gonna have that. We're gonna have 5.5 ounces of that. That's gonna finish out our ingredients. In the mixing bowl, I don't have anything yet. It's going to go in saucepan. It's just some water. Okay, this is called a double boiler. You want to use a double boiler to make the permanent emulsion. It's a lot easier to control your heat on the double boiler. So if I'm frothing the eggs, I have a towel because this whole thing is going to be hot. Okay, I have a towel. You want to take this off so it doesn't overheat, and then you can whisk it here. Just by whisking it in the air on the table without any extra heat, we'll start to cool it down a little bit, okay? So if you think that maybe your eggs are starting to overcook a little bit, pull it off, whisk it out. It'll carry over cook because it'll start to cool. But then you go, okay, it's not quite fully cooked yet. Now you have control, you can put it back on the steam. Okay, and I'll demonstrate that. But this is very important. You have control. Take it off of the steam if you need to. Okay? So now our clarified butter is almost done. You're all gonna need to do clarified butter. You know, I have a big saucepan here. You don't necessarily need a big saucepan for 5.5 ounces. I just grab what I have too. Okay? Shut this off. This is going to separate. So now all the white stuff from the top, those are just milk solids. We don't want that. In the middle is the clarified butter. On the bottom is some more heavier milk solids and water. We don't want the top or the bottom. We want the middle. All right. So with the whisk, with the ladle, okay. We want to dip away. Let's just get those milk solids all together. And I'm just putting the lip of the ladle in the butter to get these milk solids off because I don't want to get the clarified butter yet. that's the clarified butter is what we're trying to achieve. We want to get the milk solids out. Milk solids.
Oh, that's better.
So we don't want the milk solids. Alright, so from here, I don't know if you saw that, but when I lift this up, see that stuff that's separated, now it all went to the bottom? Now this is the clarified butter. If you get a little bit of milk solids, you're okay. It's okay. It won't kill it. But you don't want a ton of it. Now I'm doing the same thing. I'm just using the lip of the ladle to gather the clarified butter because I don't want water. And you'll be able to tell when the water comes in. I'm still just getting butter. I'm still just getting butter. Close. Now, when you start to get close is when you have to go a little bit slower. This amount of butter is not. I'm still kind of yellow. The yellow is what I want. But then it'll start to go like clear or some white. See how it just goes right into the ladle? We're done. As long as it's just that lip, because fat rises to the top. Still getting butter. Now, if you see, I've gotten to the point where I can get butter still, but if I go too far, I'll start getting water. You see the water coming in there? See the white underneath? I'm starting to get water coming into my butter. I don't want that. So get as much, and not that any water at all will kill your Hollandaise. I mean, just a little bit will be alright, but for the most part, you don't want water. So that's what's left, is that white part. You see that little white pool in the bottom? That's other milk solids and water. You don't want that. Okay? You want to get rid of that. That part's done. So we're going to come over here and we're going to start our double boiler. And we just want steam. It doesn't need to boil. Remember, your hands are going to be over here.
Hot.
It's going to be hot. Steam's 212 degrees, right? Yeah.
Not that hot.
It's not technically
What are
steam,
you, some
it's
kind of scientist?
water vapor.
Yeah.
I really wanted to zoom in. Live steam is more than 212 degrees.
So from here, we're going to be working like this. We're going to make sure that the towel is not catching fire. All right. This can be lowered so that the flame isn't catching it on fire.
Just in case the towel does catch on fire, can we just flap it around?
No, just hold on to it.
Okay. Wait, what?
Just throw it in the sink.
No, get rid of it.
Oh, okay.
Don't hold on to it. Don't flap it, because when you flap it and everything's on fire, and if
getting
little
more
pieces
oxygen.
of fire fly and hit somebody in the hair,
Ooh,
you're gonna do a Michael Jackson.
got too much soot in my hair for that.
Let's not do any Michael Jacksons, okay?
So just
So you could take the towel that's on fire, put it on
I'm
the
about
floor,
to say, throw it on the
stomp
ground and stomp on it real quick.
That's what you do.
No, hold on to it. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to know.
When you have leaves in your fire pit.
So now I'm gonna start the eggs first.
Eggs are good.
In the bowl. This is getting warm. This is a little warm. That's fine. We don't need it to be on fire. We don't need it to be hot. Because we're just gonna froth them up.
Oh yeah.
I have 2 yolks in there. Holding on to the bowl. I want to froth the egg yolks up a little bit. So they're gonna be pretty dark yellow. If you add a little air to them, they're gonna get light in color a little bit. So they're a little lighter. We just kind of, get them mixed up fairly well. Okay.
Can I answer the phone?
No, you're not answering the phone. No.
It rang once. It's not ringing anymore.
So we have the butter, the eggs, we have the water, lemon juice, and the vinegar. We started with the eggs, clarified our butter, started with the eggs. You're gonna put about half of the water, half of the lemon juice, and half of the vinegar. And we're gonna froth these up again. Going to start adding acid into our eggs. This is going to actually help us cook a little bit. I'm going to put this over our steam, which is not actually steam yet. We're getting there. And we're going to start whisking. Keep your whisk in the middle of the mixing bowl. Try not to be all over the place. So if you're up like this, all your eggs are going to go up the side of the bowl, and they're going to start cooking up in the top of the bowl. They won't turn into a sauce. You'll just have a big giant thing of scrambled eggs. Try to keep your whisk in the middle of the eggs to keep your pool small. Because this is just a 2 yolk hollandaise. That's it. And I'm trying to cook my eggs. I want them to cook. So I got some heat going. They're cooking. Take it off the heat. I don't want them to scramble. They started to get real frothy, and the eggs themselves will start to solidify. They'll start to look like a little sponge. Like it'll get some stiff peaks, tighten up a little bit. This is when you can tell your eggs are not done. When it's watery looking, and the bottom of it, I guess it's watery looking, and the bottom of it's still like a dark yellow. You see the dark yellow underneath? See the dark yellow underneath, Ken? I know you're on a motorcycle. If there's dark yellow underneath, that part's not cooked. Okay? So you need to return it. You need to finish cooking it. This shouldn't take super long. Especially once you have steam going in the double boiler chamber. You could start to tell that the eggs are almost finished cooking by looking at the bottom of the bowl. So if the eggs are finished cooking, you could see the streaks in the bottom of the bowl. If there aren't any streaks, and it comes back, and the raw egg starts to come back, see the little streaks in the bottom of the bowl? As the egg starts to separate, that means it's almost done. When it comes back, that means it's not done. That means there's raw egg still in the bowl. It's still getting a little more frothy. So little at a time, it's almost fully cooked. This is the time where you want to take it off if you think that you might overcook it. Because you could sit here and whisk it, but you need to have a good eye on it.
Very good eye.
Yeah. Returning it a little bit because I want it to cook a little bit more. And once the eggs are cooked, that's it. You don't need to steam anymore. Okay, so now my eggs are cooked because I have these streaks in. See the streaks at the bottom of the bowl? The streaks in the bottom of the bowl from the whisk? That means it's finished. Yep. So now we can put the rest. You know, I maybe ease back on the lemon juice and the vinegar a little bit. Maybe not put all of it in. Just so when you go to taste it, it might be a little too vinegary or it might be a little too lemony. Okay, so the key is to have your eggs fully cooked. And now it's seasoned. Take your towel, make sure it's folded, put it down, and you're going to put your bowl right on your towel, okay? From here, you're going to whisk your butter in. So, in that, you shouldn't be holding it. Turn that. This way. Don't hold it. I'm going to slowly incorporate my butter into my whisk. I'm not whisking very quickly. I'm just making sure that everything's moving. And I'm putting very little bit in at a time. The butter is warm, the eggs are warm, so it shouldn't break. It's 7 ounces of butter oil in each yolk so it doesn't break. If you do too much more than that, it'll break. I'm adding very little at a time. And I'm going to keep on going. It's going to start getting a little bit lighter in color because you're creating the emulsion. You're adding air, you're adding butter. Once you get to a certain point where the emulsification process is ready, you can add a little more butter at a time. But I would still kind of go fairly slow until you get to the end. If you get to the end and you got a lot of water left in, you don't want to add that in there. Hollandaise sauce is pretty much finished at this point. You're going to taste it. You're going to nappe. This is called nappe. You put the sauce in the back of the spoon. No, you run your finger through it. And then if it holds a line, that's called nappe Vince. You need to pay attention. It's your final exam, brother. You need to wake up and watch. Get up. Nappe is good. You're going to taste it.
What it tastes like?
It doesn't taste really like much of anything right now because there ain't any salt yet. But I'm tasting for vinegar and lemon juice.
Can you taste that?
It needs a little bit more. Yeah. So I'm going to put the rest of my lemon juice. I'll put this. And when you put more liquid in, it tends to cool it down and it also loosens it up. So you got to be careful. You got to still make sure it's nappe. To taste, you'll add some salt because this is unsalted butter, and then a little bit of pepper. Be careful of your pepper. Don't put too much. I don't want this to look red. Okay, it's cayenne pepper. Now we're going to taste it again.
What does that taste like now?
Yeah, now it's good. Now everything's popping because I added the salt.
You taste the vinegar?
I think I need a little bit more salt. I definitely can taste the vinegar.
Little mini juice?
So, it's good. You should probably have a couple spoons in your jacket while you're working,
Just for tasting?
just for tasting.
Oh, in that. What can I say? This one.
And that's a finished product. That's what it should look like. That's what it should taste like.
Kinda.
Kinda.
Let's taste.
Everybody taste.